Sierra Matthews had it all, or so the world believed. As the wife of billionaire CEO Adrian Matthews, her life was a dream wrapped in designer silk and sealed with diamonds. She had spent 15 years as the picture-perfect wife, draped in luxury, her name whispered in elite social circles, her presence gracing only the most exclusive events. From Paris Fashion Week to summer vacations in Santorini, her life was an endless carousel of extravagance. But behind the gilded walls of their mansion, a storm had been brewing. Adrian had changed. He was no longer the doting husband who had once worshipped the ground she walked on. The man who had vowed to love her forever now looked at her with cold indifference. And their daughter, Ava, barely saw her father anymore. Sierra had felt it coming. The late nights at the office, the sudden secrecy, the way his touch became foreign. But nothing could have prepared her for the day Adrian shattered their world. It was a Friday evening when Adrian called Sierra into his office, a grand room in their mansion, lined with mahogany shelves and a fireplace that had once warmed her heart. "I think we need some space," he said, his tone devoid of emotion. Sierra blinked. "Space." Adrian leaned back, his crisp Armani suit unwrinkled, his gold watch glinting under the chandelier. "I want a divorce. And I need you to leave." She felt as if the air had been sucked out of the room. "You what?" Adrian sighed, almost impatiently. "You and Ava. I want you both out of the house by tomorrow."
Ava.
Their 12-year-old daughter. Their everything. Tears welled in Sierra's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "Adrian, we've been married for 15 years. I gave you everything. And I gave you a life most women would kill for," he interrupted. "This is non-negotiable, Sierra." Her heart shattered. She had built the life with this man, sacrificed dreams, molded herself into the perfect wife. And now, with the flick of his wrist, he was discarding her like an outdated fashion trend. The next morning, paparazzi swarmed as Sierra and Ava stood outside their mansion, designer suitcases lined at their feet, their luxury no longer a privilege but a painful reminder of what was lost. The news broke within hours. Billionaire CEO Adrian Matthews dumps wife and daughter, moves on with new flame, and that's when Sierra saw her. Clinging to Adrian's arm was Camille St. James, a younger woman, a rising model, a socialite known for her ruthless ambition. Sierra's breath hitched. So this was it. A trade-up. Ava clutched her mother's hand, tears streaming down her face. "Where will we go, Mama?" Sierra straightened her back, chin high, determination replacing heartbreak. "Somewhere better, baby. Somewhere they'll regret losing us." Sierra had spent 15 years in the world of the wealthy, but nothing prepared her for being cast out of it. The mansion that had once been her sanctuary was now just a memory. She checked into a 5-star hotel in Manhattan with Ava, using the black card Adrian had yet to freeze. But Sierra knew the money would run out soon. She couldn't rely on Adrian's guilt to sustain them. She needed a plan. Sierra wasn't just a trophy wife. She was a woman who had managed Adrian's life, his social calendar, his image. If she could handle a billionaire's empire from the shadows, she could build her own. And that's when it hit her. She would build a brand. With her keen fashion sense, industry connections, and an eye for luxury, Sierra would launch her own high-end fashion line, one that would rival the very world that had discarded her. A month after their exile, Sierra was meeting with potential investors when an unexpected call came in. "I have something you need to know," a voice whispered. It was Claire, her longtime friend and former assistant to Adrian. "Adrian didn't just leave you for Camille," Claire said. "He planned this for years. Your name was never on any of the company assets. He was moving money months before the divorce." Sierra's blood ran cold. "Are you saying—" "He made sure you'd walk away with nothing," Claire confirmed. "Camille was just the final play." Betrayal burned through Sierra's veins. She had given this man everything: loyalty, love, a family. And in return, he had discarded her like an accessory that no longer suited his taste. But Sierra wasn't the kind of woman to crumble.
She was going to fight back.
Sierra poured herself into her fashion brand. Using her contacts in the industry, She curated a collection of elegant, timeless pieces, luxury redefined. Sierra Matthews' New York was born, and it wasn't long before whispers of her comeback spread. She made public appearances at exclusive galas, dressed in her own designs, making sure she was seen. She networked, charmed, and played the game better than she ever had before. And when the time was right, she struck. At a high-profile charity event, Sierra stood at the center of the room, elegance personified in a custom gold gown from her collection. Photographers snapped pictures as she smiled at the cameras, right across from Adrian and Camille. Adrian's smirk faltered when he saw her. Camille, draped in diamonds, clung to his arm, but Sierra saw the way her grip tightened. Sierra leaned in just enough for Adrian to hear her. "I should thank you," she said sweetly. "You didn't break me. You built me." With that, she walked away, toward a future that was hers to shape. Sierra's fashion empire soared. Within months, Sierra Matthews New York became the most sought-after luxury brand, with celebrities and socialites flaunting her designs. Major fashion magazines called her the Queen of Reinvention, and whispers of a billion-dollar valuation circled Wall Street. Adrian, on the other hand, was facing problems. His company, Matthews Enterprises, had suffered significant losses. A scandal involving shady business deals surfaced, leading to an internal investigation. Investors were pulling out, and worst of all, his golden trophy, Camille, had started to distance herself. And then came the biggest blow. Sierra had secured a deal with one of the largest European investors, the same investor Adrian had been courting for months. At a high-profile business gala, Adrian spotted Sierra speaking to the investor over champagne. She was laughing, confident, draped in a custom sapphire gown from her collection. Every eye in the room was on her. He couldn't take it anymore. "Sierra." His voice was sharp as he approached. She turned, her expression unreadable.
Adrian.
"I think we need to talk." Sierra raised a perfectly sculpted brow. "About what? The company you tried to cut me out of? Or how you plan my downfall?" Adrian's jaw tightened. "I never meant—" "Oh, don't insult me," she said coolly. "You replaced me like I was disposable, Adrian. But look at me now." She leaned in, her voice a whisper only he could hear. "I'm not just back, I'm above you." And with that, she walked away. Just as Sierra was enjoying her new life, someone from her past resurfaced. Liam Carter. Liam had been her first love, long before Adrian swept her into his world of power and wealth. He had been the one she left behind, choosing security over passion. And now, he was back, an accomplished billionaire in his own right, leading a tech empire that rivaled Silicon Valley's finest. At an exclusive private dinner in Paris, Liam sat across from Sierra, watching her with amusement. "You always were meant for greatness," he said, sipping his wine. She smirked. "And yet, I remember a time when you thought I'd settle for being a small-town girl. I never doubted you. I just didn't think you'd choose a man like Adrian." Her smile faded. "I thought he was my forever." Liam reached for her hand. "Maybe you were looking in the wrong place." For the first time in years, Sierra felt something she thought she had lost: hope. Just as Sierra was moving forward, a shocking betrayal rocked her world. One morning, while reviewing financial reports, she discovered a hidden transfer of millions of dollars out of her company. Her heart pounded. Someone was stealing from her. She immediately called Claire. "Find out who had access to my accounts." Hours later, Claire sent her the answer. It was Adrian. He had bribed one of her accountants to leak funds into a shell company he controlled. Sierra clenched her jaw. This was war. Sierra sat in her penthouse suite, the skyline of New York City stretching endlessly before her. She swirled her glass of wine, her mind calculating her next move. Adrian had stolen from her. But she wouldn't just take back what was hers. No, she would ruin him. Step 1. Freezing his assets. Sierra called Liam. "I need something done quietly," she said. Liam didn't even hesitate. "Consider it handled." Within 24 hours, Sierra had legal action in place. The stolen millions? Frozen. Adrian couldn't touch a single dollar. His company's accounts were now flagged for fraud investigations. Step 2. Exposing him. Sierra had connections in high places, including the media. She leaked every detail of Adrian's financial manipulations, framing it as an exclusive exposé. Billionaire Adrian Matthews accused of embezzlement, luxury empire on the brink of collapse. By morning, his empire was crumbling. Step 3. The final blow. Sierra didn't stop there. She bought out his board members. One by one, she secured their votes, convincing them that Adrian's leadership was a liability. Then, at a crucial board meeting, Adrian walked in expecting business as usual. Instead, he was blindsided. "We're voting you out," one of the board members announced. Sierra sat at the head of the table, dressed in power and confidence. Surprise. Adrian's face turned pale. "You." She smirked.
Me.
With a single signature, Adrian Matthews was stripped of his CEO title. His company? No longer his. Camille, sensing the downfall, left him almost immediately. And just like that, the man who had once thrown Sierra and Ava out was left with nothing. Months later, Sierra stood in Paris. Her latest collection sold out worldwide. Her brand had become a billion-dollar empire. Liam was by her side, steady and sure. "So, what's next?" he asked. She smiled, looking at the life she built. "Everything." Adrian Matthews sat alone in his once grand office, now empty and cold. The lavish paintings, the gold-framed awards, the carefully curated luxuries, all gone. The company he had built, the empire he had worked so hard for, had slipped through his fingers. He had been left with only the remnants of a life he thought would last forever. His phone buzzed with a message from Camille, now long gone from his life. "I can't do this anymore. You've lost me, Adrian. Good luck." But Adrian's loss wasn't what Sierra had been aiming for. She had wanted balance, not to see him broken beyond repair. After the board ousted him, Sierra hadn't continued her crusade for vengeance. Instead, she began focusing on healing for herself, for Ava, and even for Adrian. She had taken her pound of flesh in the corporate world, but she realized that bitterness could only hold her back. Weeks passed, and Sierra's empire continued to rise. Yet, something inside her tugged at her heart. She had built so much, but in the process, she had neglected the most important part of her life: peace. One evening, a letter arrived. It was from Adrian. Sierra hesitated before opening it, wondering if it would be filled with more venom or excuses. But when she read it, her eyes softened.
Sierra.
"I have nothing left now, but I wanted to say, for all the things I did wrong and the pain I caused, I am sorry. I failed you as a husband, as a father, and as a man. But seeing what you've built, the strength you've shown, it opened my eyes. I wish you happiness, and I hope that one day, you and Ava will find peace. I won't be a part of your life anymore, but I wanted you to know that I regret the way I treated you. You were right all along. Adrian." Sierra read the letter twice before carefully folding it and placing it in her drawer. It wasn't an apology she had expected, but it was the one she needed. She had spent too long angry, too long hurt. Now, she understood the power of forgiveness, not for Adrian, but for herself. She took Ava's hand as they stood together at their new home in the Hamptons, watching the sunset. "You know, Mom," Ava said, looking up at her. "I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you've done." Sierra smiled, brushing a strand of hair from Ava's face. "We did it together, sweetheart." And in that moment, Sierra realized the true power of what she had built: love, resilience, and the ability to start anew. She didn't need Adrian's validation or approval. She didn't need his empire or his fortune. What she had was something far more valuable: a daughter, a fresh start, and a life filled with endless possibilities. Thank you so much for watching and following the journey of Sierra Matthews. Her story proves that even in the face of betrayal and hardship, strength and love can lead to a brighter future. We hope you enjoyed this ride, and we look forward to bringing you more stories full of drama, twists, and triumphs. Thank you to all the viewers who made this possible. We couldn't have done it without you.
See you next time.